So today I'm going to show you two cool things that are new from Godox that are lighting related. This is kind of like a mixed user experience slash review video of these two things, and I think these are absolute game changers. And with these two things in mind, you won't have to spend or think about spending so much money on products that are similar to this. I'll tell you what's the good, what's the bad, and what's the ugly. So let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about the new Godox UL150 LED fixture and the new Laofa's 120 centimeter or 47-inch softbox. These two things paired together will create the perfect interview setup for you. Now, if you haven't already, I do suggest checking out my Godox SL150W Mark II LED light review right here, because that light has a ton of different features, and the UL150 and the SL150W Mark II are different lights. They are meant for different purposes. First things first, the UL150 is an ultra silent light, meaning that there is no fan. And they were able to do this with this newly improved heatsink that makes the whole body or the whole light fixture a lot wider and larger than the SL150W Mark II. Along with this light being completely silent, we do have a new feature of adding a V-mount battery to power this light. Now, the other light that I have from Godox is the SLW150 Mark II. And this light is meant more for a studio scenario, meaning that it hooks up directly into an outlet without having to have a ballast with a battery pack. But the downside is that you can't really use that light outside of your studio. You can only rely on the power coming out of your wall. This light you can literally take anywhere and power it via any type of V-mount battery. So that's a great plus there. And obviously you have a power cable to hook it up to a wall as well. Now, the reason why I'm not showing you the unboxing portion of this video is because there's no case included. If there was a case included in the UL150, it would have made the product that much better. But even though it doesn't have a case, the price point of this light is much less than the Aputure 120D Mark II. And that light has a fan, and it has a noticeable fan noise if you have it pretty close to your microphone. I do have a few 120D Mark IIs, two of those, and then I have one 120D, and I also have a mini 20D which has a ridiculously loud fan. But all in all, those lights do perform well. I'm a big Aputure fan, but I do think Godox is catching up with this UL150. Each year, technology is improving. Each year, they're developing new ways of heat dissipation, and this is absolute proof, the Godox UL150. And for those of you who are wondering, the 150 stands for 150 watts of power. If you want the exact measurements of the light output, definitely check out the link down below with all of the specs. In today's video, I really want to focus on my overall experience with the light, using it as my main key light for my YouTube talking head videos. And I also just want to talk about the durability, the overall features. And unfortunately, this light does not have built-in effects like we are used to with these newer lights. This is meant mainly for an interview setup like what I have set up right here. And that means that this light is expected to be close to a microphone because it's ultra silent, and it's just meant to output light. This light is definitely meant for those of you who need absolute silence. The SL150W Mark II, however, has those built-in effects, but it also has a built-in fan, which honestly isn't that loud. But if silence is key, if you need absolute silence, you definitely need a light like this. And Godox thought, well, if they need absolute silence, why would they need effects at the same time? This is definitely meant for those up close and personal shots where you need a light fixture like the UL150. If you take a close look at the UL150's body, it's filled with holes. Like, the whole thing is just holes everywhere. And that's obviously for heat dissipation. We do have a plastic and metal housing So it doesn't feel cheap and it's surprisingly heavy. Along with that, we have a Bowens mount built into the light, which is industry standard, allowing you to attach multiple light fixtures. The UL150's yoke is not only strong, but you can also flip the light completely upside down and really position the light in any direction you want. So this light has very similar light output to that of the SL150W Mark II. So make sure you check out that video right here on that light where I show you the dimming comparisons. A company called Laufa has created a massive softbox. It's even bigger than the Aperture Light Dome 2, and it's a 47-inch softbox. This is the biggest softbox that I have ever used, and it's just massive. And it's similar to the Aperture Light Dome 2 as it's very easy to put together. It has those similar quick release rods that give the light its shape, and you can also attach the included 2 diffusion sheets, one that's closer to the light fixture and one that's on the outer side of the light fixture, and the system even comes with a grid and a carrying case. And for those of you who are wondering why you should use such a large softbox, well, think of it like this. When you take a light fixture like the UL150 and you put it farther behind a sheet of diffusion, you get softer light, which is why this softbox is so massive. And if you want that subtle light, if you want that soft, beautiful light, then this is the perfect softbox. But also consider this softbox is massive and it weighs a ton. So you can't use the softbox with every single light. You have to make sure that the yoke on your light is very strong. Like the Aperture 120D Mark IIs have very strong yokes. The new UL150 has a very strong yoke. So make sure you check with your light fixture and mess around with the yoke to see if it can support massive amounts of weight. Like this softbox is just, it's pretty heavy. Also make sure that your light stand can support this weight. Not every cheap little $10 light stand can support such a massive softbox. So I'll link everything that I used in today's video in the description box below, so make sure you check that out. So if you're one of those filmmakers who needs a super ultra quiet light, literally no noise, something that's reliable, something that can dim all the way down to 1%, something that has V-mount power capability, then this is the light for you. It's quiet, high build quality, great performance at any shutter speed with 0 flickering. I mean, this light is a filmmaker's dream, especially for those of you who need that silence. And the softbox just creates that soft light that everybody needs. Now, what are the downsides? I mentioned this earlier in the video. This light does not have any built-in effects. That's 1. 2, the remote. Godox currently makes 2 different remotes, and unfortunately this light with its ballast works with the older style remote, which is the RCA5. So for those of you who have the SL60W LED light, it's the same remote that works with the UL150. The SL150W Mark II uses the new RCA6. So you need 2 different remotes if you have those 2 lights. That's the only downside. I also briefly want to talk about this Godox ML60W light. Look how tiny it is. It's basically the size of a can of beans. And in this shot, I use that light for my edge lighting at 1% dim with the included light reflector. And this is a battery powered light, and it has a very similar output to that of the previous version of this light, which was the Godox SL60W. This is a much smaller light fixture and it will have its own dedicated review video. But if you're interested to check out the specs on this light, check out the link down below in the description box. And I'll tell you right now, guys, if you are a filmmaker and you're starting your own business or you have your own business, you have to be efficient, not only with your work time, but with your money. So you have to do a lot of research. You want to make sure that your gear puts money in your pocket. Don't spend more money than you need to. And that's why I bring up Godox, because I think for the price, they're honestly offering the best equipment for that price. And you can't go wrong. You honestly can't. So make sure you check out those links down below in the description box. And yeah, that's about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself, and I'll see you in another one. Peace.